what an auspicious time to have the author of Michael Cohen, Revenge, How Donald Trump Weaponized the U.S. Department of Justice Against His Critics. We are so excited to say good morning, Michael Cohen. Oh, my God.
Good morning, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm okay. We've been trying to get this booking forever. Thank you for telling the truth. Thank you for, I think it was General Hertling that said of your new book, how is it that Michael Cohen is the only one that went to prison in all of this lawbreaking, right, in the Trump administration? So talk to us, with the Barr memo coming out, just talk to us about, first of all, how you're feeling with everything that's happening right now.
Not happy. I'm not disappointed that they are finally being held to account. What I'm disappointed in is the length of time that it's taking. Every single day that Donald Trump and his minion are out there continuing to spew lie after lie after lie after lie, our democracy is more and more in peril. You know, one of the things that I talk about in Revenge is how Donald Trump weaponized the Justice Department. And the big baby, the grifter in chief, I like to call him the Greasy Grifter. What he's doing right now is he's taking advantage of the chaos that he sowed in the Department of Justice. And believe me, as I talk about in Revenge, I don't have a lot of love for the Department of Justice. In fact, one of the things that I talk about is how they hide information. Now, we as American citizens, we file something called a FOIA request, the Freedom of Information. And the first one that I filed after the unconstitutional remand of me back to prison, which I now have that lawsuit against the government, Bill Barr, DOJ, Donald Trump, etc. One of the things that they did is they replied that we have no documents that are relevant to your FOIA request. So I bring in this lawyer named Mark Zaid, who is an expert in this. Everybody in the whole world uses him, newspapers, television, etc. Yeah. And after Mark gets involved and files the action, there's over 480,000 documents. So I want your listeners to sort of put this into perspective. From 0 to 480,000. In fact, they were supposed to turn over the first 500 documents August 22nd. Instead, what are they doing? They're playing possum again and hiding, and they're now claiming that they have to send those same documents to other federal agencies before they could release it, which once again is violative of what the court had required. It's no different than the Mueller, than the Mueller report. It's no different than what Bill Barr, with that 9-page memo that his folks put out, that finally the appellate judge claimed the American public has a right to see.
Yeah. Well, Michael, ironically, you have much better lawyers than Donald Trump does, who has a parking garage lawyer and also one that worked for QVC.
Yes.
I have to ask you, how does he still get any lawyers at all? Does he not notice that some of his lawyers went to prison, some are on their way to prison, some have been disbarred? What would he doesn't pay you, right? Like, what possesses people to work as a lawyer for Donald Trump?
Yeah, I don't know. I've often called myself stupid for joining into that group. Remember, though, when I joined into that group, he had the television show The Apprentice, he had the Miss Universe pageant, it was real estate. So while we screwed over an enormous amount of contractors, that's not, and I get a lot of ribbing from people on social media claiming, oh, well, you were one of his people and so on. What we did has nothing to do with them, right? It's wrong. I acknowledge that. I grant that. Yeah. And I apologize.
Your podcast is Mea Culpa. The name of your podcast is Mea Culpa.
Yes, which is also my initials. But one of the things that I try to explain is what, like, the Alina Habbas of the world are doing, what the Rudy Giuliani's, what the Bill Barr of the world are doing. What they're doing doesn't just impact the contractor that you have a dispute with, or somebody that you owe money because you took out a ballroom at their Holiday Inn. Yeah, this impacts not just America but the world, and it's a big difference in why these people are so stupid and they're falling. But talk about stupidity! I just saw a poll, right? And you're right, by the way. He is screwed over and stiffed every single major law firm in this country, which is why he can't get anybody decent to represent him. Not to mention, You're representing him on what? On something you know that he's guilty of?
Yeah.
So talk about how screwed up we are as a country right now. I saw a poll, a Reuters poll. It's a Reuters Ipsos poll. 53% of Republicans believe, I mean, this is crazy. So they believe that Donald Trump is right in this fight with the FBI on the raid against Mar-a-Lago. Now, it drives me absolutely bonkers when I think about how these people could allow our democracy to remain in such peril for who or for what, when at the end of the day, Donald is making these claims that the FBI raided it, they trashed his home. First and foremost, let me say this to you and to your listeners. It's not his home. It's a social club with 1,000 members, all of whom had access despite the allegations that it was behind a locked door. Thousands of people had access to obtaining top secret classified information. In fact, for over a year, the National Archives have been dealing with Trump and his lawyers, the incompetent ones, right, asking for him to return the documents. Another 11 sets of classified records were taken from Mar-a-Lago, right, marked top secret. I mean, that's legitimately reserved for the most sensitive U.S. national security information. That then you have that idiot and a half, the drunken fool, Rudy Kaludi, sitting there and making the claim that he was protecting it. That he was. Nobody asked him. He couldn't protect himself.
Well, this is why I went with my Trump shirt for you, because I was gonna. You tell the truth. You're plain spoken. You're from New York. You know. And you said it. I've said it before, and I will say it again on Twitter. You said Donald has those documents for nefarious reasons. I mean, what is it that we're all like? I wonder why he would keep. Why do you think he's a lifelong criminal and con artist, right, and traitor?
Well, look, is he a lifelong traitor? I'm not so sure about lifelong. Certainly, he is today, which is the important thing. Right. There's no doubt in my mind that those documents were being kept not for preservation, as Rudy likes to say, or simply, he was acting as a custodian. That first, despite whatever they say, it is not attorney-client privilege information. That's not what these classified documents are. Some of the documents might have been. They could have been the love letters that we've heard so much about between him and Putin, him and Kim Jong-un, him and, Mohammed bin Salman. Who knows who these weird love letters are? First of all, that whole thing is just batshit crazy.
Oh, wow.
But
can't say that in the morning radio show, but okay. Who knows what that's all about? But at the end of the day, he's not entitled to those documents. They do not belong to him. They belong to you and to me and to everybody else. Yeah, exactly. Can I just say, our good friend Glenn Kirshner said of your book, Michael Cohen exposed Trump's crimes. He testified about them to Congress. He brought receipts revealing to the American people the campaign finance crimes he committed with, for the benefit of, and at the direction of individual one, Donald Trump. And Michael paid the price, yet no accountability for Trump. This is not how America is supposed to work. I mean, Michael, you're obviously a lawyer. Most of the legal experts, like Glenn, like Glenn that we talk to, think we are closer than ever to actual justice for Donald Trump. Do you feel that way too?
I do. I think that the district attorney's case in October is going to provide more than what people are giving it credit. Alan Weisselberg has the ability to escape a potential 15-year sentence for his crimes, which were, of course, in cahoots with Donald and the Trump organization, despite the fact that they're claiming that he will not be cooperating in any case against Donald Trump. You cannot separate out the eponymous company that is owned solely by Donald from Donald. So whatever he testifies to cannot be beneficial to Donald. If he does not testify, and the judge was very, very clever in doing this, in holding on his sentencing, if he does not testify honestly, truthfully, and to the extent demanded by prosecutors, he could be looking at that full 15 years. Now, for a 75-year-old that's basically a death sentence.
Yeah. Well, and Rikers has a way of making you chatty, I think. But someone said on Twitter, Weisselberg seems not to have given up any information at all, none, zero, zip. And you said, and you know this how? Why not wait until the October trial before making such an emphatic statement? So you've been one of the ones that are saying just wait and see, because a lot of people feel like this deal looked too easy.
Yeah. I love it when people who have absolutely no requisite knowledge decide that they're going to chime in and tell you how it is. Let me be very, very clear. I met with the members of the New York District Attorney's Office 3 times while I was in Otisville. They came up to see me while I was there. And then when I was returned after the unconstitutional remand, I met with them an additional 12 times. I have seen the documents that they have. I've provided them documents. I provided them the roadmap and clarity. Now, take my info and couple that with someone like Jennifer Weisselberg, who is Alan Weisselberg's ex-daughter-in-law, and you put all of that together. Mark Pomerantz and Carrie Dunn, 2 incredible attorneys, one general counsel to the DA, the other one a lifelong RICO Paul Weiss counsel, right? Just a genius. Both turned around and walked away because Alvin Bragg elected not to indict Donald Trump after they claimed that we have him. We have enough information within which to bring the indictment. But for whatever reason, Alvin Bragg chose not to. And so, in protest, they resigned. Right? That's got to be something. And it's got to tell your listeners something, too, about how much information they actually have.
Yeah. I love that some people get it. Somebody tweeted, it's amazing how Republicans can condemn Michael Cohen while simultaneously exonerating Donald Trump. It makes 0 sense. And you just said because they make 0 sense. They're willing to destroy our democracy for an orange-crusted Mandarin Mussolini. That's a new recipe, and I like that.
Yeah, that one just flowed right off the tongue. Because that's exactly what's going on here. Again, it's the same 53% of the Republican Party that would vote tomorrow for Donald Trump if there was a primary being held. Now, I've been very clear in saying I do not believe that the grifty greaser, actually greasy grifter is going to, run. I don't believe that he will. I believe he will come up with an excuse, whether it'll be health, whether it'll be family, whether it's going to be he's got too much going on in his personal life that he cannot be bothered, but he wants to remain a mover and a shaker in the GOP. That's probably the way that he will go because he'll be able to continue to market his nonsense, continue the con, and continue the grift. You realize after the FBI raid, the guy's pulling down another $1 million a day from these dopes that decide that they're going to part with their hard-earned money.
That also,
think about
that also believe he's a billionaire. They believe he's a billionaire and he needs money from them.
Right. Could you imagine that they're going to support a billionaire when they don't have enough money for rent, electricity, food, whatever it might be? I mean, it is absolutely mind-boggling to me how stupid these people can actually be. I mean, 53% of the Republican Party actually believe that Donald Trump is right. 17% of those same people are turning around and claiming that the FBI did a responsible job. Now, let me be very clear. The FBI, when they went in and they, conducted the search and they took the documents that were on, the subpoena, on the warrant, that was carefully scrutinized by not one, not two, probably 24 lawyers that looked over every single page and every single word of that warrant simply because you are raiding a property of the former president of the United States.
Yeah. By the way, I love you mentioned health or family, and someone, Lara Trump, said he loves nothing more than being able to spend time with his grandkids, and you said, LOL, since when? What bull? By Lara Trump. Okay, family. Donald Trump, family man. So quickly, because there's a couple important things before we go. So the Bill Barr, this memo, which proves exactly what you've been saying, and everybody's been saying, that Bill Barr protected Trump and his allies and persecuted Trump's enemies. Is he going to be disbarred, face obstruction charges, anything?
Why is he not? Stephanie, why is he not? Why is he walking the streets? Why is he able to go into even a restaurant? Why is he not before the January 6th committee? Why is he not before a judge? Well, he is in my specific case. I cannot wait to get him across from a table, a deposition, and to find out exactly what's going on, because I can't get it from my own government.
Yeah.
I can't get it from
Reality,
FOIA, from the DOJ. Do you know, Stephanie? Let me just throw one more thing in here. I want to thank a couple of people: Hakeem Jeffries, Ted Lieu, Congressman Steve Cohen, Congressman Jerry Nadler, right? Even Nancy Pelosi, in a little bit of a far out way there. They have all interceded and interjected themselves into trying to get information, to try to get an investigation open to Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General for the Office of the Department of Justice. Nobody can get anything out of him. I mean, we're talking about now over 2 years, and nobody is doing anything in an unconstitutional remand against a citizen of the United States, because I refused to waive my constitutional right and to publish my first book, which was called Disloyal. I mean, this is not America.
Yeah.
And
Reality Winner.
They could do it.
Reality Winner went to jail for 5 years for an iota of what Donald Trump has done. You went to prison, and yes, by the way, #1 bestseller, Disloyal. The new one is Revenge, and you had the balls to come on our show, despite the fact that we mocked you mercilessly. Did you know that we played this? Here, you just have to listen.
Cohen me, Cohen you.
Says who?
Says Toast.
There is nothing he could do. Cohen me, Cohen you.
Says who?
Says Toast.
Trump just has to face it this time.
Okay.
But by the way, it's okay. I don't mind being mocked. Believe me, I've had worse happen to me over the last 5 years. But the interesting thing in that specific case, and I was talking to Brianna Keeler, and that whole Says Who came out, I knew what she was talking about, the poll. And one of the things that I have definitely shown is that these polls don't mean anything.
Yeah, no, you were right.
They're all, and I was right. And that was sort of enough for me to turn around and allow these sort of mockings to take place. It doesn't bother me.
Well, it was a gentle mock.
It was a gentle mocking.
Yes.
And
All right, I'll accept that.
and we urge you to get Michael Cohen's new book, Revenge.
Pre-sales
by the
now.
way, everything old is new again. Matt Gaetz, who threatened you, that was witness tampering, obstruction of justice. He apparently is going to get his.
Stephanie, yes, but Donald, that's who we have to listen. Matt Gaetz is a nobody. He's a peon in a small area in Florida. He's a daddy's boy. Fortunately for him, daddy's got money. All right, he belongs in prison. He is a sex trafficker. And could you imagine that we are even having a conversation about whether a sex trafficker of underage women, right, should be members of our Congress and have the right to question anybody, including a potential Supreme Court nominee? I am
you have to come back. You have to come back. We have a lot more to talk about, but we're going to run into a hard break. But we love you. Come back anytime. And you are absolutely correct about all of it. The karmic circle is about to close. Michael Cohen, thank you so much, and we will talk to you again soon.
All right, play that song on the way out.
We will. Thank you. Thank you.
50.